The day the old house became silent was the day everything started to feel wrong for Maya. Her father was gone, and the walls that once held his laughter now held only cold air and memories. The small wooden house sat at the edge of town where no one visited anymore, and even the birds seemed to stay away. Maya stood inside the living room holding a cup that had gone cold as she stared at the empty chair where her father always sat after work. That chair felt heavier now than it ever did before. He had never been a rich man. He fixed broken engines for people in the town, and most days came home tired and covered in grease. But he always smiled when he saw Maya. She was all he had after her mother passed years ago. He never spoke much about his past. When Maya asked, he would change the topic or laugh it away. There was always something behind his eyes that never reached his smile. Now that he was gone, she was left with questions that never got answers. The house felt too big even though it was small. Every corner held something that reminded her of him. A jacket on the hook. A pair of worn shoes by the door. A cracked mug on the table. Maya was there to clean the house and prepare it for sale. She needed money, and the town was not giving her many chances. People were kind, but everyone had their own problems. As she moved through the house, she felt like she was walking through her own memories. The attic was the last place she had not opened in years. Her father always kept it locked. He said it was full of old junk and dangerous things. Maya had never been allowed up there. That made it the one place she felt pulled toward now. The old wooden ladder creaked as she climbed. Dust filled the air and made her cough. The door at the top was still locked. Her hands shook as she used the small rusty key she found in her father's desk. When the lock clicked open, her heart started to beat faster. The attic smelled like old wood and oil. Light came through a small window and cut through the dust like a blade. At first she saw boxes and broken furniture. Then she saw something covered with a large gray sheet. It was too big to be furniture. Maya walked slowly toward it. Every step felt heavy. Her fingers grabbed the edge of the sheet and pulled it back. What stood in front of her made her breath stop. A classic Shelby car. Its paint was faded, but the shape was still powerful. Even under years of dust, it looked like something that should be in a museum, not hidden in an attic. Maya had seen cars like this in magazines. People paid huge money for them. She could not understand why her father would have something like this and never tell her. She walked around it in silence. The smell of oil and old leather filled her nose. The car was locked. She looked for a key but could not find one. On the driver's seat was a small notebook. Maya picked it up. It was her father's handwriting. The first page only had one sentence. "Do not let anyone take this from you." Her heart dropped. She turned the pages. The notebook was full of notes about the car. Repairs. Parts. Dates. And something else that made her hands shake. Names. Places. And large amounts of money written beside them. This was not just a car. This was part of something bigger. Maya felt a cold wave move through her body. Her father had been hiding something dangerous. Footsteps suddenly sounded from below. Someone was inside the house. Maya froze. She slowly closed the notebook and looked around the attic. No one was supposed to be there. She had locked the front door. The footsteps stopped right under the attic ladder. A voice called out her name. It was not a friendly voice. Maya's heart started to race. Who was looking for her, and how did they know about the Shelby? Maya stayed frozen at the top of the attic ladder as the voice below called her name again. It was deep and calm, but it carried something that made her stomach tighten. No one in town spoke like that. This voice sounded like it came from a place where people did not wait for permission. She slowly pushed the gray cover back over the Shelby and slid the notebook into her jacket. Her hands were shaking, but her mind was clear. Whatever her father had hidden had just reached out to find it. The ladder creaked as she stepped down. Each sound felt louder than it should. When her feet touched the wooden floor, she saw a tall man standing in the living room. He wore a dark coat and his eyes moved across the walls like he was searching for something that belonged to him. He smiled when he saw Maya. But it was not a warm smile. He said her name again. Maya asked who he was. The man told her he was an old friend of her father. That word friend did not sound honest when he said it. He looked past her toward the attic. Then back at her face. He asked if her father had left her anything special. Maya felt the notebook in her jacket like a burning secret. She shook her head. The man laughed softly and said her father always liked to hide things. He walked closer. Maya took a step back. He said her father owed people a lot of money. He said that debt did not die with him. Maya told him to leave. The man's smile faded. He said the Shelby did not belong to her father. He said it was never meant to stay in that house. Maya felt the truth hit her like cold rain. The car was not just a treasure. It was a key to something dangerous. The man stepped closer again. Maya ran. She rushed through the back door and into the yard. Her heart was pounding so hard it hurt. She ran through the tall grass and toward the small garage behind the house. Inside the garage was her father's old pickup. She jumped inside and tried to start it. The engine coughed and came alive. As she drove away, she saw the man standing by the house watching her. That look on his face was calm. Too calm. Maya drove to the edge of town where her friend Lena lived. Lena had grown up with her and knew how close she was to her father. When Maya told her about the Shelby and the man, her face went pale. Lena said there had been rumors about Maya's father when they were younger. People said he was once involved with people who dealt in rare cars and dirty money. No one ever proved anything. Then one day he disappeared for years and came back quiet and broken. Maya felt tears fill her eyes. Everything she thought she knew about him was falling apart. That night Maya opened the notebook again. There were coded messages between her father and someone named Ray. There were delivery dates and hidden locations. One page showed a place just outside town marked with a star. Maya knew that place. It was an old warehouse by the river. She realized the Shelby was not meant to be sold. It was meant to be moved. And whoever was looking for it would not stop. The next morning she saw a black car parked near Lena's house. The same man was inside. He was waiting. Maya understood then that running was not enough. She had to find the truth before they found her. She told Lena she was going to the warehouse. Lena begged her not to go. But Maya felt like her father was calling her through the pages of that notebook. The truth was waiting. And it was not safe. Maya reached the warehouse as the sun was sinking behind the river. The old building stood alone with broken windows and rusted doors like it was forgotten by time. The wind pushed empty papers across the ground and made a low sound that felt like a warning. She parked far away and walked the rest of the distance. Every step made her chest tighter. She held the notebook close like it was the only thing keeping her steady. Inside the warehouse the air smelled like metal and dust. Old crates were stacked in rows. Light came through cracks in the walls and painted long shadows on the floor. Maya followed the markings from the notebook. Behind a row of crates she found a small locked room. The door was weak. One hard push and it opened. Inside were files and old photos. She picked them up with shaking hands. Pictures of her father standing next to the Shelby. Pictures of him with men she had never seen. Records of money transfers and shipments. Her father had once been part of a group that moved rare cars across borders for powerful people. When he tried to leave, they threatened him. The Shelby was meant to be their biggest job. Instead he hid it and disappeared with it to protect Maya and give her a future if anything happened to him. Tears rolled down her face. He had lived in fear all those years just to keep her safe. A sound behind her made her turn. The man from the house stood in the doorway. His eyes were dark and tired now. He said her father had broken their trust. He said people lost a lot because of that Shelby. He said Maya had two choices. Give the location of the car or lose everything. Maya stood tall. She told him the car was not his. It was her father's way of finally doing something right. The man stepped forward. Before he could reach her, Lena's voice shouted from behind. Police lights flashed through the broken windows. Lena had called for help. The man tried to run, but it was too late. He was taken away while Maya watched with tears and relief. Weeks later, the Shelby was moved to a safe place. The authorities confirmed its value was more than Maya could ever imagine. Maya sold the car. With that money she paid off every debt her father had and started a new life. She opened a small workshop in his name where young people could learn to fix engines and build their dreams. Sometimes she would sit alone and look at her father's old notebook. She finally understood him. He was not a perfect man. He was a man who tried to protect the one person he loved the most. Before closing the book, she wrote one line on the last page. "You saved me, even after you were gone." Maya thought the hardest part was over once the man was taken away and the Shelby was moved to a safe place. For the first time in years, the house felt like a normal house again and not like a box full of secrets. People in town stopped whispering when she walked past. Some even smiled at her like they were proud of her for surviving something she never asked for. Maya tried to accept that peace. She wanted to believe her life had finally turned a corner. But peace does not always arrive in a clean way. Sometimes it comes with small cracks that you only notice when it is too late. The first crack appeared on a quiet morning when Maya was opening the workshop. She had named it after her father, not because she wanted to keep the past close, but because she wanted to turn it into something good. She wanted young people to learn honest work, to build with their hands, and to feel proud of it. The workshop was small but bright. Old tools hung neatly on the wall. A simple sign outside said Malik Auto Works. Seeing her father's name like that still made her throat tight, but it also made her feel strong. Lena arrived early with tea and a tired smile. She had stayed close to Maya through everything. When Maya used to wake up from bad dreams, Lena would sit with her until her breathing slowed. When the town started asking questions, Lena would step in and protect her like a shield. Maya never forgot that. That morning Lena placed the tea on the counter and said something that made Maya's hands stop moving. She said that a man had been asking about Maya again. Not the same man. A different one. He had visited the workshop the day before when it was closed. He looked polite and calm. He asked about the Shelby as if he was asking about the weather. Then he left without buying anything. Maya tried to act normal, but her body remembered fear faster than her mind could fight it. She asked Lena what he looked like. Lena described him in simple details. Average height. Clean clothes. Sharp eyes. A soft voice that felt too controlled. He smiled as if he had practiced it. Maya told herself it could be anyone. A curious person. A collector. A reporter. But the notebook in her drawer felt heavier just from hearing that. It was like her father's warning had not finished yet. Later that day, a letter arrived with no return name. It was placed under the workshop door like someone did not want to be seen. Maya stared at it for a long time before opening it. The paper inside had one short sentence. He did not hide, only the car. Maya's fingers went cold. Her heart started beating hard again, the same way it did in the attic. She read the sentence again and again like it might change if she looked long enough. Lena asked what it meant. Maya did not know. But she felt something deep inside her say this was not random. This was someone reaching for the past again. That night Maya went back to her father's old house. She did not like being there alone anymore, but she needed to look. She needed to be sure there were no other locked doors she never opened. She walked through rooms that still smelled like old wood and soap. The silence felt thick. She stepped into her father's small bedroom and opened the desk drawer where she had found the attic key before. At first she found nothing new. Just old receipts and small notes and a watch that no longer worked. Then her fingers touched something taped to the underside of the drawer. It was a thin envelope, hidden where no one would casually check. Maya carefully pulled it off. Inside was another key. And a small folded paper with her father's handwriting. If you found the Shelby, do not stop there. The truth is not only metal and money. It is a name. Maya sat on the floor and held the note like it was alive. A name. What name? Her father's name was Malik. Everyone knew that. He had lived in town for years. He fixed engines. He paid bills late sometimes. He drank tea in the same shop every weekend. He was normal. But the note did not feel like it was talking about Malik. It felt like it was talking about the man he used to be. Maya searched the house again, more carefully this time. She checked the closet, the kitchen, the old tool shelf. Nothing. Then she looked at the wall behind her father's workbench. There was a small wooden panel that looked slightly newer than the others. It was almost invisible unless you stared at it long enough. Maya used a screwdriver and loosened the nails. The panel came off with a soft crack. Behind it was a narrow space. And inside that space was a small metal box. Her hands shook as she lifted it out. The key fit the lock. The box opened with a quiet click. Inside were documents. Not many. Just enough to change everything. There was an old passport with her father's picture. But the name on it was not Malik. It was a different name. Maya stared at it until her eyes burned. She flipped through more papers. There were letters. There was a certificate. There were photos of her father standing beside a woman Maya had never seen. The woman held a baby wrapped in a blanket. Maya's chest tightened when she realized the baby could be her. Lena arrived at the house after Maya called her in a shaking voice. When Lena saw the passport, her face went still. She did not speak for a long time. Maya asked one question that felt impossible to ask. Who was he? Lena looked at Maya and said she did not know. But she said something else that felt like another crack. She said maybe Maya's father had been hiding because he was not only running from people who wanted the Shelby. Maybe he was hiding from the life he left behind. That idea was painful. Because it made Maya feel like she might not even know her own story. It made her wonder if her mother had known. It made her wonder if the love she remembered was built on half-truths. Maya spent the next week chasing answers in quiet ways. She did not tell the whole town. She did not post anything. She did not want noise. She wanted facts. She took the documents to a lawyer in the nearby city. A careful man who spoke slowly and looked at papers like he could hear what they were not saying. He told her the passport was real but old. He told her the name on it was connected to a set of business records from years ago. He told her there was a company tied to rare car imports. The same world her father tried to escape. Then the lawyer said a sentence that made Maya feel dizzy. There is a person who filed a claim on your father's estate. Maya thought she heard wrong. She asked who. The lawyer gave her a name. A woman named Sarah. Maya held the chair like she might fall. She had never heard that name before. But the letters in the box were addressed to someone with the same name. The photos showed a woman who could be Sarah. Lena asked if she wanted to meet her. Maya said she did not know. Her mind was full of fear and hope at the same time. Fear that her father had another family. Hope that there was an explanation that did not break her heart. 2 days later Maya got a message on her phone from an unknown number. It was short and simple. You deserve the full story. Meet me at the Riverside Cafe at noon. Come alone. Maya read it again and again. She wanted to show Lena. But the message said come alone. And Maya knew how these things worked. People who had something to hide liked control. Still, Maya could not ignore it. If she stayed silent she would stay stuck forever. At noon she walked into the Riverside Cafe. The place was quiet. Only a few people sat near the windows. The smell of fried snacks and tea filled the air. Maya scanned the room until she saw a woman sitting in the corner. The woman looked older than Maya expected. Not old, but worn in a way that came from carrying something heavy for too long. Her hair was tied back. Her hands were steady. Her eyes were the kind that had cried enough that they learned how to hide it. Maya approached slowly. The woman stood up and looked at her like she was seeing a ghost. She said Maya's name softly, as if she had practiced saying it for years but never had the chance. Maya asked who she was. The woman said she was Sarah. She said she knew Malik. She said she knew him before he was Malik. Maya sat down, her body stiff. Sarah took a deep breath and spoke carefully like every word could cut. She said years ago Malik had a different life. He was part of that rare car world. He was good at it. Too good. He was trusted by people who should never be trusted. Then he met Maya's mother. And for the first time he wanted out. Sarah said she was his sister. Maya blinked fast. Sister. Sarah nodded. She said Malik was not only running from dangerous men. He was running because he was ashamed. He changed his name to protect Maya and her mother. He cut off everyone, even Sarah, because he believed distance was the only way to keep danger away. Maya asked the question that was stuck in her throat. Why now? Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but she did not let them fall. She said she found out Malik died through an old contact. She said she waited because she did not want to crash into Maya's life like a storm. But then she heard about the Shelby and the arrest. She realized the past was circling again. And if Maya did not learn the truth, she would keep stepping into traps without knowing. Maya asked about the letter under the door. Sarah admitted she left it. She said she did not know how else to warn her. She said Malik hid more than the car. Maya pulled the box documents from her bag. She placed them on the table. Sarah looked at them and nodded. Then Sarah said the line that changed everything again. There is one more thing he hid. Not money. Not a car. A person. Maya felt her stomach twist. Sarah explained that years ago, before Maya was born, Malik helped someone escape that world. A young mechanic named Tom. Tom knew too much. People wanted him gone. Malik helped him disappear. In return, Tom promised to keep a secret. Sarah said Tom still lived nearby under a different name. And Tom knew the full truth about why Malik kept the Shelby in the attic. Maya asked why her father would risk hiding it at all. Sarah leaned forward and spoke in a low voice. Because inside the Shelby, hidden deep where only a skilled person could find it, was proof. Proof that could bring down people who were never punished. Malik kept it as insurance. He kept it as a shield. He kept it so that if they ever came for his daughter, he could leave a way for her to fight back without violence. Maya's mind raced. She thought she sold the Shelby. If proof was inside it, where was it now? Sarah looked at her carefully and asked where the car went. Maya told her it was sold through legal channels and the authorities handled much of it. Sarah said that might be good because it created records. But it also meant the proof could now be in the wrong hands. Maya felt sick. She had tried to close the story and move on. But her father's story was still moving without her permission. Sarah reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. She handed it to Maya. Inside was a tiny metal piece that looked like it came from a car. Attached was a note in Malik's handwriting. If you are reading this, you are stronger than I ever was. Do not chase revenge. Chase freedom. Trust Sarah. And trust yourself. Maya's eyes blurred. She held that small piece like it was a part of her father's heart. Outside the cafe, Maya noticed something that made her skin go cold. A black car was parked across the street. Not moving. Not obvious. But watching. Sarah saw it too. She whispered that the past was not fully gone. Not yet. Maya stood up. For the first time she did not feel like running. She felt like choosing. She told Sarah she would not hide anymore. But she also would not let fear control her life. She would do this the right way. Legal. Smart. Careful. They made a plan. They would find Tom. They would tell the authorities about the hidden proof and the possibility it was now in circulation. They would protect Maya's workshop and her future. And they would stop this story from repeating with another person. That evening Maya returned to the workshop with Lena waiting inside. Maya told Lena everything. Lena listened with wide eyes and then held Maya's hands tightly. Maya looked around the shop. The tools. The clean floor. The sign with her father's name. This place was not just a business. It was her decision to turn pain into something useful. Before locking up, Maya wrote a small message on a whiteboard near the entrance where her students would see it. If you are carrying a secret that hurts you, talk to someone you trust. Silence protects the wrong people. Then she added a second line for the viewers in her mind, the people who would watch this story and feel something personal in it. Where are you watching from, and have you ever found a truth in your family that changed everything? Drop your city and your story in the comments. Because Maya knew something now that she did not know before. Sometimes the real Shelby is not the car. It is the hidden part of someone you loved. And the moment you find it, your life splits into two roads. One road is fear. The other road is truth. And Maya was finally ready to take the road that led forward.